All right, we should be live. Let me just get my name up on here. All right. I'm going to put the link into the Discord and let me mute myself. Oh shit, sharing the wrong screen. Okay, so there's 6 of you in here right now. Perfect. Yeah, I just started a mock draft on Underdog, so I'm like, why not go live with it? And yeah, I'm trying out a 0 RB build, so we'll see how this goes if you guys are tuning in. Start off with Diggs and Ridley at the 9 spots, so we'll see how this team turns out. But yeah, if you guys are tuning in, start filtering in those comments, and I'll feel free to get to whatever you need. Yo, what's up, D Wade? Nice seeing you in the chat. Let's go. I gotta get the tags into the YouTube as well. Let me just do this real quick. Video. What's up, Justin? Let's go. No, it's not made for kids. Fantasy football. So I'm just putting in the tags for the video. What's up, Daniel? Yo, brothers, got Najee with the 102 and Lance with the 107 in my Superflex Dynasty. Yeah, that is absolutely stealing. Again, those are 2 of my top tier guys. I mean, I have Lance as my 101 overall, and Najee's in that tier with him and Pitt and Trevor Lawrence. So that's a very good start to your draft. But yeah, as you guys can see here, everybody loves going with the wide receivers in this 3rd round, and it's actually pushing down the value of these running backs like DeAndre Swift. Getting him at the end of the 3rd round is it's unreal. So I'll mix it in. I'll get a nice DeAndre Swift share. But yeah, what I've noticed about the market on Underdog is with everybody adjusting to try to get their running backs in the first 2 rounds, it's really dropping that RB dead zone. Usually we see the RB dead zone rounds 3 to 7. But because everybody's so focused on wide receivers now, it's actually pushing talents down. Like DeAndre Swift in normal years would probably be an end of the 2nd, early 3rd round pick, but he's fallen to me at the end of the 3rd round now. So I'll absolutely take that. And on my turn, I'm looking at either Evans or Dobbins, depending on who falls. But Wyatt says, is Pittman in a 2022 second for Bateman and overpay? And I absolutely don't think it is. Look, as much as I love Michael Pittman, when I look at Rashad Bateman, I think he's got legitimate top 15 wide receiver potential, which I just don't see with Michael Pittman as much as I love him. So I don't think that's an overpay whatsoever for a guy in Rashad Bateman who we at the FSE believe in so much. So I'm going to snag up Mike Evans here, but you guys can see this start. Loaded up, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds. Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans in the receiving core, DeAndre Swift as the RB core. So I really like the start, honestly. I didn't know how I'd feel because typically here, I would just take Antonio Gibson and not think twice about it. But I thought, why not spice it up, get those 2 receivers. And yeah, I kind of like how this team's looking so far. Yeah, let me get these tags in, sorry. Make it easier for you guys. Yo, what's up, Leo? Let's go. But yeah, for you guys who want to know the team at home so far, we got Diggs, Ridley, DeAndre Swift, and Mike Evans. So let's spice it up. What am I doing here? Y says, wide receiver core is Chase, Brown, Deontay, Pittman, and Mooney. Who should I try and flip Deontay for? Assuming, again, this is a full dynasty draft, I would be looking with that more youngish type of core. Maybe you could get a Devonta Smith for Deontay Johnson. I mean, if someone's high on Deontay Johnson, you could pull off a Devonta Smith or maybe even like Elijah Moore and a pick, I would absolutely look to do something like that. But Devonta Smith is the one that kind of cries out at me. I mean, you got a really young core: Chase, AJ Brown, Pittman, and Mooney. Getting a guy Devonta Smith to really complement what that core is, I think would be a good point for you. And a 1 point tight end premium. What should I add with Montgomery to acquire Kelsey? It's a 3 quarterback, 7 flex, and I already have Waller. Having Kelsey as well would guarantee it ship this year. That's actually a good question. And a 1 point tight end premium, maybe try to add Montgomery in your first for Kelsey. Might get it done again. In a normal league, I probably wouldn't do something like that because of the scarcity of running backs. But in a full 1 point premium, having a guy in Kelsey who's a near lock for 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns to pair with Waller, I think Monty in a first is probably a reasonable price. But yeah, you guys can see the draft board here. Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar Jackson all off the board. And I would have hoped Josh Allen would have fallen so I can get the stack, but it's fine. Sebastian. What up, Danny? Just recently found the channel. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, Sebastian. He says, in a 1 quarterback PPR dynasty startup, who would you take with the 103 in a veteran draft? So again, it's a 1 quarterback PPR. I would actually take Jonathan Taylor. He's currently my RB2 right now in Dynasty, but I'm assuming that Saquon Barkley will probably be the consensus 2 amongst the industry. Regardless, at that 103 spot, I'm looking at either Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, whoever falls to you at that spot. But we're back on the clock here, and you guys can see the board. And I mean, I think I can get Travis Etienne on the way back. So what type of wide receivers we're looking at? Galladay, or I don't mind Deontay here with this team with tight ends. Hawkinson, but the Lions stack after. That wouldn't be too bad. Hopefully I can get maybe ETN or a wide receiver, one of these guys here. Next pick. Rate this team 10-team full PPR. You got Brady, Akers, Chubb, Eckler, Hill. Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10 team. Like that's a very good team you got there, Jacob. Danny, what's up, Spicy Hot? Let's go. What's going on? Forrest, I'm just in a underdog draft. So I started off, I thought, why not go wide receiver to start at the 9 spot? And that's the team so far. You got Swift, you got Evans, you got Hawkinson, and it's feeling pretty good so far. The kid, yes sir, Flet, let's go. I got my COVID shot yesterday, but got to power on. So I was feeling like crap this morning, feeling a little better now. So I thought, why not hop on a live with the boys? Because he's 22 years old. Devonta Smith, yeah, I agree. Is Bush joining today? Yeah, he's currently doing some work. He might come on in a bit, but I thought, why not just stream this draft, right? So we're back on the clock here, and I could go ETN, or I could punt and see what type of running backs I can get in the later portion. It's either ETN or Claypool. I'll get a Claypool share. Not really have to worry about my wide receivers after this. So, Eckler, Aaron Jones in a PPR dynasty. I actually personally would take Austin Eckler there. Look, as much as I love Aaron Jones, to me, they're similar players in terms of what their potential output could be, except Eckler is locked into a situation with that Chargers offense with Justin Herbert for the foreseeable future. Well, again, with Aaron Jones, you got the question marks of Aaron Rodgers. You got the question marks of how that offense would look transitioning if Aaron Rodgers were to leave. So, gun to my head today, I had to pick. I would take Austin Eckler. Taylor, I meant that 2 over Barkley because you get 2 extra years. Yeah, I mean, they're both in the same tier for me. It just kind of depends. I mean, let's not undercredit what Jonathan Taylor's done. I mean, this is a guy who was RB6 last year, is in one of the best situations in the NFL, one of the best offensive lines, 22 years old, and they really showed down the stretch that they were giving him workhorse level volume. Again, in the final 6 weeks of the season, this guy was averaging nearly 24 PPR points per game. I know it might be a little bit of a projection, but if we're talking about appreciating asset, Jonathan Taylor fully deserves to be into that tier. Now, if you want to make the argument for Saquon because he's got 100 reception upside, because in general, he may be the most talented running back in the league, by all means. But I do think that they're in a similar tier from a dynasty standpoint. But we should run a sleeper mock if you have time after. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm chilling right now. Got a couple things I got to write, but I thought, why not hop on for a little bit and try to give you guys a little bit of a show. Lumber, what kind of pick should I be getting if I send Diggs and Damian Harris for Najee and Ruggs in a full rebuild? Looking at that right now. So if we're looking Najee and Diggs are probably similar value in Dynasty, and then Damian Harris and Ruggs. If you can get any type of picks added to the Najee and Ruggs side in a full rebuild, I think I would do that deal. Like even if it's a second, honestly, like I would take the Najee and Ruggs side for you, especially considering you're looking to rebuild. How's my Dynasty running back core? Gibson, AJ Dillon, Mike Davis, Michael Carter, Sermon, and Chuba. You probably are lacking a 2 right now, in my opinion. Like if you could have, I don't know, let's think like a David Montgomery. If he was mixed into there, I would like it. It's just right now, like there's question marks with Mike Davis. You don't know necessarily what the Falcons are going to look at or what Mike Davis is going to be after this season, considering that I think he's at best a 1-year rental. AJ Dillon, obviously they re-signed Aaron Jones. He's probably still a good 3-4 RB to have. Michael Carter, while I do believe in him, there's still the question marks with the draft capital. And actually, real quick, we're back on the clock here. Get Debo. I'll get a Debo share in the 7th round. But yeah, looking back to that, it's a good core overall, like in terms of like where you can be. You just probably need an RB2 added to that mix, and I would really like it. But that's what I would say. Who wins this trade? Montgomery and Waller for Andrews and Akers. I'm taking the Andrews and Akers side and not thinking twice about it. Look, I really think Montgomery is a good, solid top 15 to 18 running back this year, and Waller obviously is a stud in his own right. But I think Cam Akers has got the potential to break fantasy football. I mean, we could be looking at a guy that enters that 1,800 yard from scrimmage, 15 touchdown type of territory. And we saw, like Bush has talked about him at nauseum all offseason. We saw what the Rams have been able to do from a red zone perspective, the run heaviest team in the red zone over the past 3 years when they had Todd Gurley, talking about 2017 to 19. If Akers even gets, let's say 75% of that type of role, I mean, we could be looking at a year in, year out, 15 plus touchdown back. And Andrews in his own right, tethered to the right arm of Lamar Jackson in a really good offense. I do think he's going to be a top 5 tight end, at least for the next 5-6 years. So I would go with the Andrews and Akers side. Hurts or Tua in a 1 quarterback PPR. This one, honestly, I would prefer Tua on face value, but if you're a contender, I don't mind making a move for Hurts there. But we're back on the clock here, and looking at Fuller, got RBs. I could go this later on. Yeah, it's looking like wide receivers the move. I'm just gonna get Will Fuller. But yeah, I would take Tua at face value there, Frank. I don't think Barkley does have 100 catch upside with Danny Dimes. Again, like it's few and far between, honestly. Like saying anybody has 100 catch upside aside from maybe CMC is a lot to say, apart from CMC and Eckler as well. I'd probably put into that tier. But if you're talking about a guy that's going to get 110, 115 targets, I definitely think that could be the case. Because again, this guy showed it as a rookie that he is an adept pass catcher out of the backfield. And when he's on his game, like Barkley may, as Ian Hartitz would say, Barkley may be Earth's RB1. So he's got the talent to really do that. Do you like Dobbins in 211? Are you talking about a dynasty draft or are you talking about redraft? Because in redraft, that might be a bit early for my liking, considering the fact that I like Swift and Dobbins more so as 3rd round picks. But in a dynasty draft, assuming it's 1 quarterback or, I mean, even a Superflex, that's probably about his range. In a Superflex, he's probably going in the early 3rd, late 2nd round. That's probably adequate value in a dynasty. But in a redraft, I just wouldn't pull the trigger on him that early. I'm starting to take Monty at his ADP. Yeah, I mean, dude, like he's currently going off the board. Like I've seen him go off the board in the 5th round at times. Like let's see where he went here. 411, 4th round. Hey, like where even is he? Am I blind? Okay, he went at the 410 here, and even at that value, like you're getting a guy who's locked into a 280, 300 touch workload. Like you can't go wrong at that value. What site is your mock on? This is actually currently on Underdog Fantasy. And if you actually go to the link in the description, if you use our code FSE at checkout, first deposit, you'll get $25 match back onto your Underdog Fantasy account, as well as access to both our Dynasty and redraft guides. So if you do that, hey, you get a free BBM entry and you get our draft guides for free. So go get that done. Ridley or Keenan or Allen Robinson. Assuming this is redraft, I personally would rank them Ridley, Keenan, Allen Robinson. And obviously, if it's Dynasty, Keenan would be a little bit lower down because of his age. But in redraft, Ridley, Keenan, Allen Robinson, that order. Yeah, Timothy agrees as well. Eckler's a PPR. Yeah. I mean, if this guy doesn't finish with 90 receptions this year, I'll be surprised. That's the level of talent. That's the level of usage we should see in this offense. So I absolutely agree there. Hey, Danny, what do you think I should be targeting at the 4th overall pick? I personally have, again, call me biased, but when I'm looking at the workload, when I'm looking at the potential usage, I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott. Like, I get it. He didn't show out well last year, but when Dak was healthy and when this offense was healthy, he was on a pace as the RB3 on the season. And this should be a guy that, if he's playing the full 17, by the way, we're on the clock. If he's playing the full season, should be flirting with 15, 18 touchdowns overall. So I would take Ezekiel Elliott, and I'm actually going to go with James Conner here. So this is a little bit of a modified 0 RB, as you guys can see. Got my workhorse with DeAndre Swift, James Conner, and I've just been pounding the wide receivers in between. So this team is very fun looking at it right now. What stacks can I build? Let's just taking a look. I can get the Tampa stack. I mean, is Antonio Brown still available? No, but I can get Tom Brady on the way back. Okay. Thoughts on Kirk Cousins with the future with the Vikings? Is his job secure, or do you think the Vikings will cut ties with him soon? I personally have the belief that they're going to give him a year. They're going to say, hey, listen, Kirk, if you can't move the needle for us, and I got sniped on Tom Brady, if you can't move the needle for us, guess what? Kellen Mond, young guy, cheap contract. We could move off of him within a year. So I definitely think it could be in the realm of possibilities where Kirk Cousins is no longer the starting quarterback of the Vikings within a year from now. So that's something to watch. RB cores: Gibson, Williams, Carter, Drake, Gus. Here, sorry, 1 second. Let me just get my so I can make the Atlanta stack later on. Pittsburgh, San Francisco. I got the Hawkinson. Let me see what's available. I could go with Elijah Moore here. I'm gonna go Elijah Moore. It's kind of late compared to where I've seen him. All right. And start up this year, wide receiver core: AJ Brown, Chase, Deontay. Quarterbacks, Lamar. Yeah, your team is pretty loaded. But if you want any specific advice, feel free to DM myself or Corey on Discord or Twitter, and submit your team to Dynasty Decisions. We'll attack it. We'll give you 3-4 minutes or whatever going over your team, going over any questions you have. So if you want any specifics on it, feel free to DM either of us. I'm crazy if I prefer Keenan over Ridley this year. You're absolutely not crazy. I mean, I actually have I have Ridley 1 spot ahead of Keenan right now for reference. I have Keenan as my wide receiver 6, and I have Calvin Ridley as my wide receiver 5. So I don't think that's crazy at all. You think AK-41 will still finish top 5 this year? Yeah, I mean, see, the concerns were a little bit overblown because the part where he struggled was the part where he was also dealing with injuries. And when people just get out their RotoViz splits and want to compare it, they'll say, oh, well, he was a lot worse. He was objectively worse when Taysom Hill was in the lineup. When at the same time, they're completely ignoring the fact that he was actually dealing with injury during those weeks. Not to mention, there was also a game in there where, Denver was actually starting a practice squad wide receiver, a quarterback. So I think the concerns are overblown. Obviously, I would prefer to see him with Jameis Winston. But even if he's with Taysom Hill, he's probably going to be a middle RB1. If he's with Jameis Winston, I do think he's still got the high RB1 potential that we've seen with Alvin Kamara. How's my dynasty wide receiver core? Jefferson, Galladay, Samuel, Claypool, Tom. Yeah, that's a really solid core. Justin Jefferson, Michael Thomas alone should flirt with top 10 this year. And you got Claypool, a guy that myself and Bush are very high on. Debo Samuel, who I've actually made a video out earlier on this offseason about him being a buy, and Kenny Galladay locking into alpha type of role with the New York Giants. So I think that's a really good core you got there. I think Keenan Allen is the safest wide receiver in fantasy this year. Yeah, absolutely. If you were to name like one guy that's basically a lock to finish mid to high RB1 or wide receiver 1, I would put it as Keenan, because if you look at the offense, you look at the target share, you look at the splits when he was fully healthy and playing with Justin Herbert. I mean, this guy was absolutely tearing up fantasy football. So I do agree. Keenan Allen's a very safe pick thus far. But I'm actually going to lock in Trey Lance here. Nice little stack there with him and Debo. It's not too bad. But yeah, what RBs are available? I can go with Latavius, David Johnson later. All right. I'm gonna grab Trey Lance. So overall, this is squad so far for you guys that are interested. Got Trey Lance there, Elijah Moore last round, James Conner, and then I just basically smashed wide receiver in the early portion of my draft. So Yeah, this is a fun little look. RB's a little question mark, but I mean, with those wide receivers, you can't do wrong whatsoever. I might not have to touch a wide receiver until like the last rounds of my draft now. Just hoping like David Johnson, Latavius Murray, Naheem Hines, some of these guys fall. Obviously not Jamal Williams because I got DeAndre Swift. My Ryan later too. Does Salvin Ahmed deserve a spot on my taxi squad? Does he have any chance of seeing action and possibly competing with Gaskin for touches, or gets the job if Gaskin can't get it done? I mean, I think he's worth a practice squad spot or a taxi squad spot, honestly. I mean, he showed last year that when Gaskin missed time, he's a capable running back. And in general, like just having guys that you've seen produce before, like basically for free on your roster. I mean, you're not going to touch this guy. It's not like you're going to just lose him for free. So yeah, keep him on your taxi squad. See what happens. See what develops. Maybe Gaskin isn't that guy. Maybe Salvin Ahmed can earn a role. I mean, he showed last year that he could handle it. So there's no harm in keeping him on your taxi squad there, in my opinion. But yeah, I could go with Matt Ryan here. I could just wait, honestly. I think I can go on Latavius. Yeah, I'm going to grab Latavius. I think that's a solid pick. What round would you grab Herbert? I personally think he's about a 7th round pick. We're currently seeing like the Dak, Kyler, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson tier currently going off the board around round 5 to early round 6. So I would probably place Herbert about a round and a half just after those guys. But yeah, that's probably about where he went in this draft as well. Yeah, he went at the 704. What kind of value should Wentz and either Mooney or Pittman bring back? Thank you. In terms of a trade, you should probably be able to get a slight quarterback upgrade with that. If I were to look at the board right here, talking about Wentz plus Mooney or Pittman could probably net you a quarterback. Maybe you could go after like the Ryan Tannehill range. Like if you can get Ryan Tannehill for that, I think that'd be a really solid move. So let me know. Russell Wilson or Justin Herbert for Superflex Dynasty. In a Dynasty, I'll take Herbert there. Russell Wilson's shown over the years that he's inconsistent on a week-to-week basis. The Seattle team showed last year that despite them having success in the early portion of the season, they ended up reverting to a run-heavy team over the last half of the season. And we're talking about an asset that's 9 years older. So I will take Justin Herbert there. I actually slightly prefer Herbert in redraft as well. So that tells you any clue in terms of dynasty as well. What round would you shoot for Ayuk? I currently actually like it, as soon as he's there in like the mid 5th to early 6th, that's about the range where I look for him. But in your current home leagues, you probably could even get him later than that. Honestly, I think Ayuk's got the potential to really establish himself as a top 15 to 20 wide receiver this year. Again, he's got the most individualized role on the 49ers passing attack. As much as I love George Kittle, as much as I love Deebo Samuel, they're both kind of using the same, like not same facet, but same portion of the field why Ayuk is going to do most of his damage down the field. So overall, I would take Ayuk in that mid 5th to early 6th round area. Would you feel safe taking Adams with all the Rodgers stuff going on? Look, at his current ADP, I'm taking him there any day. Like you can get him at the 205. Actually, I'm just gonna make my pick. If you can get him at the 205, I mean, that's an absolute value. So I'm gonna quickly grab Terrace Marshall, I believe. Let me just take a look. I could also do the jet stack too. Zach Wilson here. Sorry, I'm just gonna make my pick. Go Terrace. Probably go second tight end next pick, and then just grab our running backs. Yeah, I like he's currently going on the mid 2nd round. Like if Rodgers was on the field, I mean, we'd be talking about a guy that'd be going in the early to mid 1st round. So taking that value regardless, even if Rodgers isn't there, I mean, we should be looking at a guy who's at minimum a mid wide receiver 1 regardless, because the talent is there. The opportunity is there. I mean, he's a clear alpha in his offense. So even if Jordan Love's the quarterback, I'm still fine with taking Devontae Adams in the 2nd round. Anytime, Aaron. Thoughts on tight ends, Troutman and Kmet production this season? I like both of those guys, honestly. Both are in that fringe top 15 of my tight end rankings. Talking about Troutman, again, after Kamara and Thomas, there's no clear next guy in that team. So I do think he's got potential there to earn targets. And talking about Cole Kmet, I mean, they used this guy. They were a 2nd round pick on him last year. And he showed down the stretch that he was earning that role by the end of the season. And we're talking about Jimmy Graham, who was able to produce 500 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. I just don't see that being the case in terms of his role. Like Jimmy Graham for the early portion of the season was a top 12 tight end. If Cole Kmet even eats, and I got sniped. If Cole Kmet even eats in remotely to that type of stuff, that type of target share, we could be talking about a guy that is really valuable for fantasy football. So I'm back on the clock here, and so wide receivers I can just wait on. I mean, I do have Will Fuller, so I could grab a Tua share. I'm not that high on Tua, but fuck it, I'll just grab Tua. So, yeah, I got him at value too. I could just grab Zach Wilson later on. That'll be my final quarterback. But who wins this trade? Burrow, CH, AJ Brown, and Hill for Diggs, Amari, Wilson, and Zeke. So is that Russell Wilson or Zach Wilson? Let me know. But assuming it's Zach Wilson, Burrow, CH. I will take the Amari side. Amari, Diggs, Cooper, Zach Wilson, and Zeke. Julio or Cup? I'll take in redraft. I will take. Oh, you said redraft and dynasty. In redraft, I'll slightly prefer Julio. In dynasty, I'll take Cup. Yeah, I mean Leonardo banged that. Oh, it's Russ. Okay, yeah, and I prefer the Russ side there. Let me see. Do the tags even show up? Like, okay, now here. Let me get the tags in. All right, perfect. We should be good now. Okay, so let's stock up the board real quick. Could go James White, could go Chuba, Gainwell, Penny. Ty Johnson's not terrible either. Diami. Okay, so I gotta delete some of these tags. All right. Should be good now. Let me get into some more questions. Have Mahomes, Tannehill, Wentz, and Lance. Need to upgrade at wide receiver. You got Keenan, Sutton, Pittman, Marvin Jones, and Gallup at wide receiver, and Doms, Aaron Jones, Sanders, then bench for my running backs. Thoughts on who to move? I'd personally try to see what I can get for Wentz. Like if you can get a decent wide receiver too for Wentz for a guy that needs a quarterback, I'd probably look for something like that. You got the basis of your room. You just probably need a guy after Keenan. Like as much as I like Sutton, you probably need a steady wide receiver too in this team. But apart from that, I do think going after if we're to say it right now, like if you can get maybe Wentz in a pick can get you to like Wentz for Debo might actually be a move you can make straight up. Wentz for Will Fuller, Wentz and maybe a second round pick for Waddle. Like you can explore that type of move, and I think that'd be good for you. I traded Saquon and Thielen for Diggs and Eckler. Me personally, I like it. How about you? I like that move. As much as I love Saquon, look, Eckler, you're going to get RB1 production, and Diggs is a top 5 wide receiver, so I like that. Would Zach Wilson be worth a 20? Absolutely. He's worth a mid-first right now in 2021. So, if you need a quarterback, go for that by all means. But damn, we did get sniped, unfortunately, on the Jet stack. But what tight ends are we looking at here? Could go with Hunter Henry. And I got sniped at running back, right? Looking at the board here. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Hunter Henry here. Good value on that spot. How's the team shaping up? Here, let me show you guys the team. So quarterbacks right now, I got Trey Lance and Tua. Running backs, I got DeAndre Swift, James Conner, Latavius Murray. Wide receivers, Diggs, Ridley, Evans, Claypool, Debo, Will Fuller, Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall. Tight ends, I have TJ Hawkinson and Hunter Henry. So, hopefully, like, what are the running backs here? I can go Chuba. That's not terrible. Gainwell. I think this is just something I'll punt the position and maybe snag another wide receiver here. Probably take my last wide receiver. Danny, where do you rank Aaron Jones currently? He burned me so bad on my championship game last year that I'll never draft him again. In terms of redraft, he's currently my RB12 in that tier 3. But if Aaron Rodgers is labeled like ready to come back to Green Bay, he'll absolutely jump my rankings, probably get into my RB7, RB8 type range. But yeah, that's the thing with Darren Jones, by the way. Like he has his ups, he has his downs, but at the end of the day here, he's going to produce. So you got to take him and respect him. So thanks for the advice. Anytime, Aaron. Are you in on I'm assuming that's Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, I mean, in terms of my ranking of him in redraft, it's probably just about, if not like a spot lower than consensus. But yeah, for example, like this guy got him at the 110. I think that's a really good value. Personally, I probably would have taken him, Akers, or Eckler here, but I just want to see how the wide receivers would turn out. But I absolutely think he's well worth a mid to late first round pick in terms of your redrafts. We're back on the clock here, actually, and like Tevin Coleman's yucky. I don't like this board. I could go, like, is there any other stack I can get here? Terrace Marshall's Darnold here. I could go Darnold. We'll go Darnold. Oh, fuck. Okay, whatever. I got auto pick Chuba Hubbard. Pain. In deeper league, what are your thoughts on wide receiver handcuffs, like grabbing Samuel or De'Ami Brown if you got Terry? I don't believe in wide receiver handcuffs whatsoever. Again, at the end of the day here, targets are earned, not given. So when I'm looking at it like a wide receiver handcuff, realistically here, at least with RBs, the workload is going to be there regardless. In terms of wide receivers, like you can't just put in a replacement level player. Like I don't think Samuel or De'Ami Brown is a replacement level player, but like you can't just put somebody in and say, okay, listen, Terry McLaurin, you're at a 28% target share. You got hurt, so now your backup's going to step in and get that. Like I just don't view that to be the case. So I don't think handcuffing wide receivers really like makes that much sense. Who's the best stack this year in terms of value stack or in terms of overall like top of the table, like you pay your big bucks, you know what you're going to get type of stack? Because those top stacks, I mean, we're talking about the Chargers, we're talking about the Cowboys, we're talking about the Chiefs, and most likely in terms of value stacks, I really like the value on what we've seen with the Ravens. I mean, you can currently get Lamar Jackson as a 5th round pick. Then you can turn back and get Mark Andrews as a 6th round pick and get Rashad Bateman in like the 10th, 11th. That's just absolute value. And if you can do that, I'm all in on that. Can't wait to get Eckler on my Dino team. Yeah, Eckler's a good boy. Eckler's got some moves, bro. So hopefully, yeah, that'll be good for you. We're gonna be back on the clock soon, and I see Nico Collins here. Like if I can end off my draft with Penny or Ty Johnson and Nico Collins, I really like that. Yeah, I like the Diggs and Allen stack too. Like if Josh Allen didn't get picked here, I was looking for him to make it back. There's just no sense in me taking Allen at the 4-4 here when Mike Evans is available. So that's how I had it. What's your take on biggest sleeper? Kind of like Diggs last year, going round 5, round 6, and turning out to be top 2. We're going to have videos on that all throughout the offseason. But judging off of here, I mean, I think Amari Cooper's got a really good possibility. I mean, if we want to play the chalk, I mean, we could talk about Michael Thomas or Keenan Allen. They're going off the board in the 3rd round. I think they can end up returning first round value like these guys. So those are the type of guys you look for. In terms of later on, I mean, I think Ayuk's a really good shout in terms of upside. Chase Claypool, Jerry Jeudy's got upside. So yeah, the wide receiver position as a whole this year, I'm really in on in those mid rounds. But we're back on the clock here, and I think I'm just going to round out with Rashad Penny and possibly Ty Johnson if he makes it back. Though I might have to take one more quarterback. We'll see. Take one more quarterback or one more wide receiver. But yeah, this is a running back core. I mean, it's okay. In your opinion, who's some of the best running back handcuffs in Dynasty? Well, if we're actually looking at the board here, in general, the best pure handcuffs. I mean, you're talking about the Madisons, you're talking about the Dylans, you're talking about the Darrell Hendersons, Tony Pollard. Those are probably the top names right now. So, yeah, those would be the guys I look at, like Henderson, Dillon, Madison. So, yeah, I am a Bills fan, though. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that Allen Diggs stack, I mean, we're talking about Josh Allen, who's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. Stephon Diggs is number 1 receiver, wide receiver, locked into 160, 170 targets. So that's going to be a really good stack yet again. Flight, you do not need Eckler. Yeah, Flight, your team is pretty disgusting, if you ask me. So we're about to be back on the clock here, and it looks like Nico Collins is gone, unfortunately. Is he? Did Nico Collins actually go off the board, or am I tripping? Oh, he did. Okay, pain. All right. I think I'm going to end off this draft with probably Palmer or Alan Lazard, depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, we're back on the clock here, and I think I'm gonna take Alan Lazard. Let me just take a look. Yeah, I'll go with Alan Lazard. Probably could have went Goff, but I mean, you don't need Goff. You just need the two biggest target share players in that offense, and Swift and Hawkinson. Like, even if Goff doesn't do well, like, those guys are going to get huge amount of targets. So I'm not too worried there in terms of filling out the stack with the quarterback. What is AJ Dillon's dynasty value? What round should he be targeted? I would say, like, if we're looking here realistically, like, as soon as you get into the RB 36 to 41 type of range, like if we're looking here, like, I know it's dynasty, but like stay with me. Like, after like the Ronald Jones area, after the Michael Carter, like he's probably in like the Tony Pollard range. So yeah, like if you're getting him in like the 10-11 round here, and then you add Superflex, so probably like 11th round, is probably where he's good. When did you guys create the channel, by the way? We created the channel last April, I believe. So we've been at it for just over a year now. So I appreciate you guys supporting. We're currently on the road to 5,000 subscribers. As always, you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and turn those notifications on. But yeah, I'm late. Who were your first five? So my first five picks, you guys can see here. We got Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Swift, Mike Evans, and TJ Hawkinson, with the rest of the draft being Claypool, Debo, Fuller, Connor, Elijah Moore, Trey Lance, Latavius, etc. But I went for a modified RB0 here. You guys can kind of see my exposure here. I'll just show this real quick. In terms of the guys that I own most in these drafts, in terms of Best Ball Mania, number one, Rashad Bateman at his price is just an absolute steal. I mean, he's currently going off the board 10th, 11th round, and a guy that I do think is going to be the wide receiver one for Lamar Jackson. Marvin Jones, Elijah Moore, Rob Gronkowski, Terrace Marshall. So you guys can see that there. But yeah, here I can head a sleeper mock for you guys. Let me just do that real quick. I'll head a sleeper mock and put it in here for you guys. Rookie draft, Pitts or Chase. They're same tier to me, so it just depends on what your team would need. But on face value, I'd probably lean Pitts slightly. I'm gonna head out. Peace, brother. Take it easy, Flat. Nice seeing you in here. Here, let me start this mock. New mock draft. So we'll do a redraft mock to start it off. Dynasty PPR. We'll do a full PPR. No tight end premium. One quarterback, two running backs. Do two wide receivers. Okay, I'll put this link into the thing, and you guys can hop in here. My hot take this year is the channel hits 10K before the fantasy season is up. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed, y'all. If you guys are watching the channel, let's get it to 10K. Let's go. Got to hit 5K first, but hey, I wouldn't complain if we got 10K. I took Diggs in all my drafts this year since I traded him last year, thinking he'll have another great. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, dude. Like, Stephon Diggs is a premier talent, so I agree with that. I got to go. Thanks for the help. Anytime, Jacob. Nice seeing you in here. There's currently 13 of you in here. I want to see everybody hopping into this mock. I'll put it into the Discord as well. Perfect, Slasher. Yeah, we see you in here. I'll put it into the Discord so everybody knows. Everyone. And then I'll also put the link for the live stream in there as well. Just give me a second. But here. All right. So we're currently about half filled. Let's get this all filled up, boys and girls. Let's go. I'll be randomizing the order real quick, and we'll get going. Full PPR, no tight end. All right. No tight end premium. No tight end premium. Let me share my screen as well so you guys can see that. All right, perfect. So we got Heebs on the clock. And Dylan got the same pick. All right, let's see Heebs. Let's go. All right, so we see Dalvin Cook get auto-picked. Oh, Heebs, you're auto-picking? Damn. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara. Yeah. Pain. So we see Dylan on the clock here. Let's go, Dylan. Fair. Okay, all good. That's Pain. I'm taking CMC. Fair. So we do see the top 5 go pretty relatively standard. You got Cook, McCaffrey, Kamara, Barkley, and Henry off the board. But yeah. Got Cole on the clock here. Let's see where he leans. Let's get the comments rolling, boys. Come on. Let's go. So we do see Nick Chubb go off the board after Taylor and Travis Kelce following him up. So pretty bog standard draft so far. I kind of like what we're seeing. And let's see if Anthony snipes me. Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott here and not think twice about it. Again, in a redraft, he's currently my RB4, so I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty excited. Yeah, first wide receiver off the board. So Spicy Hawk gets the boy in Austin Eckler. Yeah, that's a very good value there at the 111. So good job there. Oh, fuck. I just realized now I said, okay, that's why. All right. It's a redraft. I know it says Dynasty up there, but hopefully you guys saw that in the comment section. We do see Hill and Aaron Jones go off the board. Now we got Spicy Hawk back on the clock here after taking Eckler at the 111. He goes with Cam Akers. Great pick there. Now I'm going to be back on the clock here. Running backs, you got a really good core here, but I see Stephon Diggs on the board, and I can't pass him there, so I'll go with Diggs. 203. Pretty happy about this. Give me Eckler all day. How do you join? Okay, so I put the link into actually the comment section of the live, and it filled up pretty quickly. So yeah, unfortunately, Frank. Top rookie quarterbacks for next season in the Dynasty Superflex League. Yeah, I think it's going to be Trey Lance, man. Like, honestly, when you're talking about the rushing upside, when you're talking about the offense, talk about the supporting cast, I just think Trey Lance is in the best situation to succeed right off the bat. So, yeah. Running back starting to get ugly. Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah. I mean, you're getting into you still got a couple good ones at the top, but after those guys go, it's going to be pretty much a crapshoot. But yeah, I like my start so far. You got the Elliott and Diggs combo at the top here, so yeah, feeling good. The only argument against Lance is when he starts. That is quite literally the only argument that you could have. And I think it's going to be sooner rather than later, in all honesty, man. I mean, when you're talking about Trey Lance, like, they traded up for him for a reason. They traded 3 first-round picks to move up into the top 3 and get this guy on their team. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo is a fine quarterback. I think he could be a very solid game manager, but Trey Lance has got the potential to legitimately be a game-breaking type of quarterback for this team. So, yeah, I do agree that he'll get the start pretty quickly. You think Najee is a first-round pick in a PPR keeper league? Is this like in terms of rookie draft or in terms of veteran drafts? Because if it's in terms of veteran draft, no, I do not think he is. I mean, when I'm looking at it, look, Najee Harris is a stud in his own right, but I do have significant question marks about what that Steelers offensive line is going to be capable of. So in terms of like redraft, like there's no chance I would really take him over any of these running backs like Dobbins, Gibson, Mixon, or not Mixon, Dobbins, Gibson, like Swift, Akers, and stuff. So he's currently my RB 15, I believe, on the season. Mahomes in the second, yeah, pretty early, but I mean he's the best quarterback in fantasy, so you can't complain there. Bateman versus Waddle at pick 9. Rookie draft, I have picks 9 and 11. You could probably get both of them, but if you have to pick one or the other right now, I'd probably slightly need Bateman. Like originally, I do think Waddle's a better overall player, but I do have question marks about the situation a little bit more comparatively to what I have with Bateman. So overall, I will go with Bateman there. But you could probably get both of them in all honesty. Logan Thomas or Fant? I'll go with Noah Fant there, Frank. I do think he's a better player. And again, you mentioned the PPR aspect. Logan Thomas just kind of lucked into his situation last year, in all honesty. This offense or this team has talked about all offseason how they want to change the offense up to get the more efficient players the ball in space. And I do believe it when I say it. I think Antonio Gibson, you guys can read my article in the draft guide, but Antonio Gibson is ready to absolutely break fantasy football this year. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. So we actually are seeing a lot of the running backs go off the board, unfortunately. I guess I just got to zag. ETN go off the board. Yeah, I'm going to go with my wide receiver 6 in PPR. That's Keenan Allen. So I am absolutely hyped up about this start. PPR, yep. I got a $200 bet. Eagles get first overall. Yeah, like I do think it's the case. And even if we're looking at it, people want to argue with Jalen Hurts and Dynasty all day, every day. Like, it just don't. Like, honestly. And we actually have Bush in here. What's going on, brother?
What's up? I was on a nice little film grind all morning, so.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I'm battling through this vaccination right now. Finished a freaking underdog draft, and now I hopped into a little sleeper with the boys. So
facts. True. I didn't even know you did an underdog draft before this. I thought you just hopped on here to do a draft.
I gotta show you the team, bro. Like I wanted to see what a wide receiver start would look like, and the team's fucking pretty damn good. And
in the BBM that I just did, I started the draft like hero RB. I did Cam Akers in the first round, and I went Cam Akers, Devontae Adams at the turn. I had the 110, and I wanted to get Swift or Dobbins in the third round at the back of the third, and I didn't get either of them. They both went off the board, so I grabbed Mike Evans and Julio Jones with my next 2 picks, and I kind of faded running back outside of that. So.
Yeah, dude, I think fading running back at the top and underdog is actually the play now that everybody's adjusting their rankings and taking wide receivers in the 3 to 7 range. But in terms of that bet, Philip, yeah, I can absolutely see the Eagles getting the first overall pick. I mean, they're a dumpster fire of a team, and Jalen Hurts is not a good NFL quarterback. So there's that. No, I won Waller. Yeah, I mean, if he fell to you at the end of the third round, joke's on you because he actually wouldn't have, because I would have taken him here anyways. But yeah, anytime.
Is this redraft that you guys are doing?
Yeah, it's a redraft. I know it says Dynasty there, but I screwed up when writing the title.
Facts.
But yeah, that's what I got so far. I'm feeling pretty good about that start.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Is it? Bateman probably better in PPR. Yeah, comparatively to Jalen Waddle, I do like the situation there better. 12-team Superflex PPR. I just traded the 102 for the 110, the 310, the future second, and then the 3-2 for the 310 and a future first. I win these trade downs. In terms of a startup, yeah, like if you can get 2 top 3 round picks in the future second and the first, look, I love CMC, but you're basically turning him into Dak Prescott. I don't know, what's the 3rd round running back? Maybe Ezekiel Elliott in the 2nd round pick. Like I'd do that. And in terms of 3-2 to the 310, like you're getting a future first, a downgrade from, what is that? Probably J.K. Dobbins to, again, like Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Take this, Danny. What's up? Bengals wide receiver pecking order, Chase or Higgins. I personally
Amari Cooper. I think that's what he's talking about.
Oh, I personally I think T Higgins is a very good player. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so hard not to see Chase developing to that number 1 in that offense. Like honestly, like I wanted to earlier in the offseason. I talked about, okay, Chase is a little bit overvalued for his ADP. He's not. Like he's going where he should be. Like he's got the boom bust potential. Like, yeah, like if this guy hits, we're talking about a 1,200, 1,300 yard wide receiver, 10 touchdowns, especially in that situation with him and Burrow. So I would take Chase there. I'm in a 1 quarterback IDP league, which can you guys put up honestly, brother, like we would if we played IDP, but like, we wouldn't be able to give you the proper advice you would need in order to attack your IDP draft, unfortunately. But if you need any help in terms of the actual offensive side, like we're here. We're ready to go.
Yeah, and I wish I knew who is a good IDP analyst to refer you to, but unfortunately, I literally don't know anything about IDP. I know, what defensive players are good, but I don't know how that translates to IDP because I understand like good corners necessarily aren't good for IDP because they don't get thrown at. And that's kind of why I don't play IDP because it's not necessarily like a talent thing. It's like kind of more random, I've noticed, at least from the people that I have heard talk about IDP.
Yep, absolutely. We are Dynasty. In terms of your draft, yep. Thanks for your advice, Solid Side. Appreciate that, Frank. Just happy to help. And I want to see 21 likes into this live stream right now. We're going to have 21 viewers. We are at, can you check how many likes we're at, Bush?
We were at 11 when I joined, so I don't know how many we're at currently, but it needs to be a higher number than that for sure.
Let's go. 10 of you slacking.
Facts, yeah.
Bush gets it. Bush knows. Bush knew about the Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my announcement today on Twitter, but I'm officially now a DeAndre Swift, truther. I'm on board for the DeAndre Swift breakout this year. I'm on board for, valuing him as a top 10, top 8 running back in Dynasty. I know I was hesitant. I know for whatever reason I believed in Jamal Williams and didn't believe that the talent would win out. But after, watching some stuff from Ron Stewart, good friend of the show, reading threads from DF Bean Counter and a number of other people, and doing my own, film watching endeavor this morning, DeAndre Swift's my RB7 in Dynasty now. So yeah, I'm all in. The talent's going to win out.
Yeah, and I mean, when I looked at it too, like I had Zeke and Chubb ahead of him, and I looked at it, I'm like, I can't. Like you're getting probably similar production within the next couple of years, except you're getting it on a guy who's on his rookie contract and getting a guy who's going to have 80, 85 plus reception upside. So I do agree with you there. Again, yeah. you still have him slightly ahead of where I do.
Drop the video. He says he's still not a believer. I will drop the video right now in the chat that Ron did on Swift. It's phenomenal. Trust me. And if you haven't already done so, because it's been 8 months since we've seen football, go back and watch the guy play in his rookie season. Trust me, he's a phenomenal player. And I think, especially for Dynasty purposes, talent usually always wins out in Dynasty. Situations change year over year. And like Ron says in his video, did any of us think that Jared Goff would be the starting quarterback of the Lions, or that, XYZ would happen this offseason? No, it's the NFL. Shit happens randomly. The one thing that's a constant with a guy like Swift is that we know he's a young, talented running back with one of the best profiles we've ever seen.
Yep. No, absolutely. And again, he was my RB1 prior to the combine last year. He lands in a situation again with a bunch of receiving output available to him. And I actually broke this down, but we're talking about Anthony Lynn and Dan Campbell taking over as the offensive play callers for the Lions. The two leading receivers out of the backfield in terms of 15-plus yard explosive catches have been Austin Eckler and Alvin Kamara over the past 2 years. Yes, they're two of the most elite pass-catching running backs in the league. I understand that. But it does tell you that these coaches were able to use those running backs in space and get them the ball in the passing game. And when you're talking about DeAndre Swift, he's a very good pass catcher.
There's 2 plays against Washington where you see him in the passing game legitimately break somebody's ankles, like on a route. And that's not something you see from a rookie running, especially against Washington's defense last year. Like, that defense was phenomenal. And it's still going to be good. Like, that's the really exciting part about Swift is his big games. He had a big game against Jacksonville, but for the most part, his big games came against good defenses last year, which was really weird. And it's something that people knock against Jonathan Taylor and things like that. So, yeah, the guy is, when you can project that much target volume for a player and you don't necessarily know what the split is between him and his incumbent backup, look at what they paid Jamal Williams for starters. It was like $1.65 million per year. It's not that much money. Yes, is he going to be involved? Sure. But if he's involved to a 35% opportunity share of that backfield, that's likely not the, high-end part of the passing game that we want out of Swift. And it's probably not on the goal line or anything like that either. So I think we're getting the most valuable touches out of Swift. He's clearly going to do more with his touches than Jamal Williams. And yeah, he's going to be a pain in the ass here and there, but I think the talent ultimately wins out. So I'll just go back to a couple of these questions because I skipped them. But Smith or Chase for redraft, I will take Jamar Chase there. I do like them both though. Currently, I think especially in home leagues, they're like on Underdog. Currently, they're going at like back of the 4th round for Chase, and then like early 6th round for Smith. I think when you get to your home leagues and things of that nature, these guys are going to be solidified 6th, 7th, 8th round picks, just in more casual formats. And I think at that point in your draft, you're definitely looking for some upside. Although I did hear JJ Zachariason talk about wide receiver ones in their offense. Like we could project them as wide receiver ones in their offense, their rookie season. Very rarely were those guys league winner types. They were usually like, guys like Mike Evans, his rookie year, he was, good, but he wasn't like the best receiver in fantasy. So the Jefferson comparison for Chase, as we've mentioned before, might be a little lofty for his rookie season.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you're looking at that, it's tough for anybody to replicate 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. So even if he doesn't live up to the Jefferson rookie year, like we're still talking about a guy who's super talented, who produced in college and is getting his rookie or his college quarterback back as a rookie in Cincinnati. So even if it's not a 1,400 yard year, I'm still absolutely all in Dynasty because I do think the talent will win out, and he's going to end up developing into that consistent top 5 to 10 wide receiver every single year.
Facts. Yeah, again, like I said, Michael, I wish I could recommend you a good IDP analyst. I know Matt Shelf from Draft Sharks does IDP stuff. He's I really like what him and Smola do over there. So he's probably a guy that you could listen to about IDP.
Yep, absolutely. So it's my as a talent coming out.
Well, he might be his RB6 like in fantasy now. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. If he was your RB6 in the draft class, I'd be a little shocked because I had him RB4. So I was like probably one of the lower people on Swift.
RB2.
And in hindsight, I definitely would have put him over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. From what I've seen of them in the NFL, I think Swift is just by far the better player. And I'd probably bump Akers and Gibson over Edwards-Helaire from what I've seen as well. So I had it Taylor and Dobbins in a tier of their own. And then I had it Edwards-Helaire, Swift, Akers in a tier of their own. And then Gibson at 6 in a tier of his own. And then I think I had it A.J. Dillon, Zach Moss, and Anthony McFarland behind that, I think, or something like that. That was my rankings pre-draft before they all got to their landing spots.
Yep. I have Higbee and Troutman. If Pitts falls to me, do I take him anyway or use that first for wide receiver / RB? Like if Pitts falls to you regardless, you don't draft for your need in your rookie draft. That's number one. Number two, like if you're talking about Pitts versus Chase at that point, okay, maybe. But if you're talking about Pitts versus Smith or Pitts versus any of the running backs not named Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne, or Najee Harris, just take Pitts. He's the best overall player available. Don't overthink it. Like this guy's going to be a generational tight end in general. And in terms of appreciating asset, he is the most appreciating asset at the position. But,
yeah, and I wouldn't count either of those guys as like, oh, I have Higbee and Troutman, so I'm fine. Like Higbee is, a little bit more of a sure thing than Troutman, but neither of them are sure things. We're talking about the tight end position. Like no tight end has been drafted in the top 5 overall picks. If you want to fix your tight end position, Pitts is the best of those 3 options. And like Troutman's had like a 200-yard rookie season. Like he's a hopeful at this point. He's a sleeper. He's a dart throw. He's not a guy that I'm really counting on, to be honest.
Yep. I agree. Are you going to draft an RB next? Yeah, I ended up having Mike Davis fall to me, so I'll take the value there in the 7th round. Probably not that realistic, but it happens. So we're back on the clock here and looking at some of these receivers.
Really going hero RB with this setup here, eh?
Absolutely, and
it's a nice team that you're building, though.
I like it, man. I mean, fucking Kyler fell to me at 603. Got Mark Andrews at 510, and yeah, I got that hero RB and just stacking up value otherwise. So pretty happy. Plus, you guys already know my late round RB targets.
Yep. Our league championship is stacked everywhere but quarterback. 1 quarterback dynasty. I pick 9. I'll take best available. I'll take a best player available. Do I take Lance if he falls to me at the 11th pick to keep him from getting best quarterback? Do you have a good? Oh, he said he has Herbert and he was the league champion. Oh. I mean, if Trey Lance is the best available player, as in like, you're deciding between Trey Lance and like Michael Carter, Rondell Moore types, then sure. But if you got Rashad Bateman or Devontae Smith on the board, I'm not taking Trey Lance in a 1 quarterback league.
Yeah, and not to mention, I mean, even if you take Trey Lance from him, I'm assuming like for most leagues, Trevor Lawrence will probably go before Lance. Like he could still take a Justin Fields, he could still take a Zach Wilson. So as much as I love Trey Lance, like
is deep and talented enough that it's not like Trevor Lawrence. Like it's not like you're getting Trey Lance and there's like the next best quarterback in the class was like
Mac
Jones or something like that. Like it was in the 2019 class with Kyler Murray. Like behind Kyler Murray, it was like, okay, who the hell else is going to be valuable at quarterback? So Yeah, taking players for the sake of, stopping other people in your league from getting them is usually never going to work out the way you think it's going to.
Yep, I absolutely agree there. Team is loaded. Appreciate that, Frank.
Yeah.
I have Herbert, though. League champion. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got that.
Okay, so one thing I would like to say about the O-line upgrade, and yes, it definitely did receive an upgrade. Usually, I can't remember who wrote an article on this, but they determined basically that O-line continuity was the most important thing year over year for the success and progression of offensive lines. So usually offensive lines that don't make changes for the most part are ones that take bigger jumps. But yes, they added, a better left tackle than half of Eric Fisher last year, pretty much, because he was playing hurt most of the time, and then he tore his Achilles in the wild card game or the divisional round or whatever game it was. They didn't have Mitchell Schwartz most of the year. So the fact that they're adding Joe Thuney as well inside at guard, it definitely does help Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I wrote an entire write-up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire in our draft guide of why I think he's being overdrafted. And the majority of my point to that write-up was that Kansas City doesn't need Clyde Edwards-Helaire to win games. So they're not going to be forced into giving him red zone carries and throwing him the ball in the passing game, because if we look at the tendencies of Mahomes, tendencies of Andy Reid, tendencies of the Kansas City Chiefs in general, the Patrick Mahomes is the engine in that offense, and it's the way it should be. If we were the coaches of that team, we would have it no other way.
Yeah, no, I do agree there as well. I mean, we saw, heck, after that week one where he had, what would you say, 6 attempts,
6 goals, 6 carries inside the 3-yard line in week one, and he saw 3 the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's freaking wild.
Yeah.
I could have taken Goddard a little later, I think, but I don't know. Where'd you get him? Yeah, I mean that's probably he's probably more so like a 7th round pick. So I do think that's a little early, but heck, get your guy. What if he performs into that next tier? What if?
Yeah, I personally don't like. I would have probably seen Goddard go somewhere between Hawkinson and Fant where they were drafted, because I think Hawkinson to me is just the far safer projection for targets and for. Like I actually trust Jared Goff more than I trust Jalen Hurts to throw Hawkinson the ball, especially given the competition for targets that Hawkinson's dealing with in Detroit. So I personally would have taken, if you were going to take a tight end there, I would have picked Hawkinson.
Yep, I agree. Boys, what's up, Cairo? Nice seeing you in here. Got it. My biggest debate in my head.
Yeah.
How much of a steal is Hopkins for Shenault a first and a second? Yeah, I'll take Hopkins there.
I'll take Hopkins there, especially if you're a competing team.
Yeah, but for a rebuilder, I understand the side for Shenault there, but I would take.
I think I would still need, even if I was rebuilding, I think I'd still need more for Hopkins.
Like if you were to take that second and make it a first, that's probably about fair value.
Or if you exchange Shenault for Ayuk or Higgins or something like that, and
that's
then
fair.
The same deal, more or less.
Oh shoot! I
might have the most overrated line on paper. I don't think their line's necessarily overrated. I think most people would recognize that it's improved and it's going to be better than it was last year. But it was once like a top 10 unit with Schwartz playing like the best right tackle in the league. Fisher was a solid left tackle. They had, LDT in the middle and that stuff. So I think it's going to take their line a little bit of time to gel. I think it's probably going to be a top 15 unit in the NFL though next year.
Yep, absolutely. And I got auto picked freaking Aaron Rodgers because I didn't realize I was on the clock. That's great.
Yikes. Yeah. And so part of what I did today was I went back and watched all the sophomore running backs, and I can say definitively that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the worst one out of all of them. And it's not that he's, a terrible player or anything. I just think he doesn't have the talent ceiling to do what Swift, Dobbins, Akers, Gibson and Jonathan Taylor do. Like they're all just such better players than him. And I mentioned this before, but the 1,100 total yards and 5 touchdowns that Clyde Edwards-Helaire last year was probably one of the bigger disappointments of the entire season. If any one of those other 5 running backs that I just mentioned were drafted to Kansas City with the 32nd overall pick last year, I guarantee they all would have had better production, especially if it was like Swift or Dobbins, for example, because like those guys would have, they were phenomenal fits for the offense. They would have just been so much better, in my opinion.
Yep, I absolutely agree there. Eli Moore versus Sermon in a dynasty. I'm not thinking twice. I'm taking Elijah Moore all day, every day. In redraft, I mean, you could make the case because Sermon is a running back, but in dynasty, it's not close for me.
Yeah, easily Elijah Moore. I think I would take him in both formats, but especially in dynasty. Yeah.
Yeah. Will you guys say the playoff teams in the end? Yeah, I mean, we could look through and let you guys know our thoughts. Unfortunately, Spicy Hawk got my Michael Carter here. I was gonna just punt the running back position, take Michael Carter as my RB3, and I'd be set. But it wanted to auto pick me Aaron Rodgers because obviously I can't put guys in my queue because you guys would just scream at me anyways.
Yeah.
Pain. A-Rod baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lucked out because of it.
Yeah.
I agree.
And yeah, see, that's the thing, Slasher, with me and like the big name podcasts out there, and I'm not knocking anybody else's work, but it seems to me that everybody is overhyping Clyde Edwards-Helaire because they think the situation is good. But in reality, it's not actually that good. Like it's not like Clyde Edwards-Helaire plays for the Saints where they use their running backs to the most efficient use possible, right? They use them in the passing game a lot. They use them on the goal line a lot. The Chiefs are a good offense, yes, but they don't use their running backs. They don't deploy them that way. And who can blame them? They have guys like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes throwing them the ball. So why would you run the ball in the red zone when you have a 5'6" running back who weighs 205 pounds, or you could hand the ball to the best quarterback in the world?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just, people don't think about it from a common sense standpoint sometimes when they make arguments. They just say, oh, well, it's got to be positive regression. Well, if you think about it from a football standpoint, you mentioned it. Why would I not give the ball in the hands of my MVP, former 50 passing touchdown quarterback who has Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and other weapons in the offense, or give it to this little 5'7", 205 pounder at the goal line? Like, come on, it's common sense.
Yeah, exactly. And Time and Resources says, okay, but CEH is probably still a top 15 RB at least. I agree with you. Which is why I said in that article that the Chiefs offense is the source of Clyde's floor, not his ceiling. That's where his floor is, because of the Chiefs offense, because he will have a lot of scoring opportunities and because they will be up in games a lot and he'll have chances to run the clock out. But the ceiling part of it is not where the Chiefs offense comes in, because when the Chiefs score a lot of points, it's not going to be because of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's going to be because of deep bombs to Tyreek and Hardman and Kelce scoring touchdowns in the red zone and Mahomes potentially running the ball a little bit too. So I definitely agree that CEH probably should be a late third, early fourth round redraft pick. But I've heard other big podcasts say that they would take him in the top 15 overall picks, or the mid to late second round, and they think he's like a steal there. And I just don't agree. I don't think this guy has a very high ceiling. He'd be a guy that I would want to get as my RB2 if I went wide receiver heavy early, or my RB3 if I went 3 straight running backs, or 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and then I get him in the 4th round or something like that.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Don't you think you could have explained in terms of what? Sorry.
Oh, the CEH situation, I think. Don't think you could have explained it any better.
I thought I said, don't you think?
Yeah, no.
I'm like, what?
CEH is a young Edmonds. Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the same kind of skill set that Chase Edmonds has.
Yeah, I see that. Sorry, I joined the mock via Discord, so I thought it was a Dynasty mock. I would have. Yeah, that's my bad. I kind of left it as a title, but yeah, that's unfortunate. We went high on tight ends. Yeah, validly so. This is where tight ends should go. Kelsey's probably worth about that 108 as well. And these guys are, again, that end of second, early third round range is probably where I take them to. So, yep. And that's
he's loving his team. True.
Yeah, I mean,
I like his team quite a bit too. I'm looking at his team. It's really good. He's got a lot of my dudes. He's just like literally just taking my guys right now. Like those, I swear to God, Spicy Hot's like 4 picks in a row there. He's got Rojo, Bateman, Carter, Ruggs, Jonnu. Like, you're just taking my dudes right there.
Yeah.
Akers in the 2nd round too.
Hey, Spicy Hot. I'll tell you right now. Michael Carter, if I didn't get auto-picked, you're not that guy, pal. Trust me. I'm kidding.
You are not that guy.
But yeah, aside from that Aaron Rodgers blow, like if you put Carter
so I can't remember who asked us to go through who we'd think the playoff teams would be, but I'm going to just kind of like look and scan these over and see what teams I like the most. I like super somebody team. Picked Dalvin 101, eh?
He got auto-picked, yeah.
Oh, true. Okay. So far looking at the teams, I really like Leo LeBron's team. Kamara, Gibson, Kittle, Kupp, Josh Allen. Like that's just a really strong nucleus to have. I like Dylan Fell's team as well, although I probably wouldn't have taken Mahomes in the 2nd round. But otherwise, I think his team filled out pretty well. Josh, looks like your team is pretty solid as well. Again, other than the 4th and 5th round pick, I think are a little early on. Well, maybe not early on Thielen. I'm just not willing to really draft Thielen this year where he's currently going. So Goddard and Thielen, I probably would have traded those picks out. But otherwise, I think he did a pretty solid job. Suave. I mean, like I said, with CEH, if you can get CEH in that kind of situation where he is your third running back after you're going, 2 running backs early, that I don't mind, because then you're relying on him as a flex option, and that's fine to me. It's just when you get into like, I'm okay having CEH as my RB1, like I'm not even close.
The problem is that the running back he took in the second round was Joe Mixon. So
right.
But no, it's a good team nonetheless. But yeah, and then
Go
we got
get money, just absolutely pounding the running game. 5 straight running backs to start his draft.
Tyler Moss NFL.
Yeah, literally. I mean, Chubb, Harris, Dobbins. I probably would have stopped there. I probably would have taken a wide receiver after those 3 guys and taken like Kupp or Lamb or something like that. But nonetheless, your running backs should carry your team theoretically in that kind of format. Then we got a 0 RB truther here.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go with a 0 RB truther thing, I guess going rookie running backs to try and get some upside at your running back position is usually the way to go, because you can always find, JD McKissicks and stuff on the waiver wire if all else fails, and Williams and Sermon aren't useful for your fantasy team.
And heck, when your fucking nucleus is Kelsey, Adams, Thomas, Godwin, and Chase in a 0 RB, you're doing pretty well there. Yep. But and then we got Anthony. He thought it was a Dynasty mock initially, so that explains like the Jefferson Swift ETN start, but then he realized afterwards that it was a redraft about the Fournette pick. So,
yeah, I think it's safe to say, just looking at these teams overall, if I were to say this is like a 4-team playoff or whatever, I think my favorite teams for playoff spots would be Danny Spicy Hot, Leo LeBron, and I think probably between Dylan Fell and I'm trying to look at the other guys.
I'd say super team as well. I'm not sure if you mentioned him.
Who?
I would say super team as well, who's got McCaffrey, Metcalf, Waller, Carson, Deontay. And stuff. Yeah,
the mid-round picks I'm not as big of a fan of for his team, but yeah, I think he's got a pretty solid, especially those first like couple picks. Those are all very cornerstone-like pieces. So yeah, that's kind of what I thought of the mock overall.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into a few more questions, but I'll show you the underdog team I completed as well.
True. Sleeper wide receiver 1/2 with upside. I'm trying to figure out who he's talking about here. I cannot find for the life of me who Frank is talking about with this comment, but
who did we mention? Leave it down below who we mentioned.
Yeah. Marshall versus Waddle versus Bateman. I like Bateman by a country mile there personally. I know you think Bateman and Waddle's a lot closer, but I like Bateman quite a bit over Waddle and Marshall.
Regardless, I do think that there's a tier break after like the Waddle Bateman versus Marshall, as much as I like Marshall.
Yeah.
If my wide receivers hit, I like mine. Yeah, I agree. Stop drafting. Yeah, you got lucky, Carter.
Yeah, it was only a 12-round draft. You could have always gotten a backup quarterback in the later rounds.
Yeah. Mahomes is a taupe.
Facts.
I just finished my spreadsheet on Excel. You could send it to either of us on our Twitters. I don't know why it doesn't show up when we're screen sharing, but if you guys can see this, do we not have display names? What's going on here?
Oh, I guess we don't have display names currently here. Hold on, I'll put them on.
Right. Yeah. How do we not have them?
I don't know. I'll just put the banner on.
Yeah. You can go message. Oh, you just switched. I had it.
I am literally just putting everybody that we've ever recorded with on here. Okay, there we go.
But yeah, you can DM either of us on Twitter. You see our ads on the screen. Myself, Danny Football59, Corey at Football Stock, or on Discord. If you want to get into our Discord, it's in the description of this video. You click in, join the Discord. We'll be in that Discord. You can DM either of us on that. So yeah.
And speaking of Dynasty decisions, the most recent one, we put one out yesterday around 5 p.m. or whatever, and the most recent one is out now. It came out at 2:30, so like 15 minutes ago. So if you guys want to go check that out, anybody who wasn't in the one yesterday who submitted their questions will be in the one that I released today. So make sure you guys check that out.
How do we join these drafts? So basically when I go to start this draft, I'll post the link in the live chat and in the Discord, and it's just first come, first serve. Whoever's in first gets into the mock draft. So yep.
I am a Bateman truther. That is factual.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson has wide receiver 1 potential. Yeah, I mean, if he continues the target share that we saw last year, which I do think it is, relevant information, the fact that he was able to command, I think it was like the 4th or 5th most targets in the NFL last year. It's definitely in the cards for him to finish as a wide receiver 1. He just needs to be a little bit more efficient on those targets. And I'm not sure how having Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback is going to help with that, but hopefully Deontay, his talent alone can help carry him to that kind of ceiling.
Yep, I agree. I'll quickly show you the team that I got. I wanted to start a wide receiver. So these are the wide receivers I ended up with on that team.
Diggs, Ridley, Evans, Claypool, Debo. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tight end, you got Hawkinson and Henry. And I basically did a lion stack without Jared Goff. I got Hawkinson and I got DeAndre Swift. So
facts, yeah.
We're chilling. And then Lance and Tua, I had the Fuller. So I'm like, why not get the little stack there? So
facts.
Yeah.
Spicy Out says, join the Discord for more mocks and live noties. Yeah, people, and Dylan says, an all-around fantasy help. Yeah, people are just, constantly going in that Discord. Someone will just go in and be like, what do you guys think of Melvin Gordon this year? And there's just a freaking long-ass conversation going on like that. So if you're a dynasty degenerate, if you're a fantasy football degenerate in general, there's, we got a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, also, I'm not sure if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll see I found a gray hair in my beard. I'm 21 years old. I'm getting old.
Yikes. I can't even grow a beard yet. So, and I'm 2 years older than Danny. So
Don't think Haskins starts over Ben? No. Like, as bad as Ben is, like, Haskins is absolute certified
I'd put
dog
money
water.
that Haskins doesn't even make the final 53. To be honest,
facts.
I think they extended Mason Rudolph. Like, I think that's who their backup quarterback is. Like, as much as we think Mason Rudolph is terrible, I'm pretty sure that they think Mason Rudolph is the second best quarterback on the team.
Yeah, facts. In order to join the Discord, we must see your takes on Joe Mixon. Your faith depends on
facts. Yeah, it's an immediate test as soon as you get into the Discord. What do you think of Joe Mixon?
Amen. Back in. Can you name a sleeper you like this year with upside a few if you can?
Any specific positions that you'd want a sleeper at? Because Rashad Bateman, we already talked about. He's a sleeper wide receiver that I'm going to be drafting in most of my leagues because he's like a 10th, 11th round pick for the most part. And I think he can return, what Ayuk and T. Higgins did last year pretty much.
Well, I was about to say the guy that can finish wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. You mentioned Brandon Ayuk. That's one that can absolutely do it. You mentioned we can mention Chase Claypool. That's another one that could do it. Just young ascending talents that may not have hit their ceiling yet are the guys that I would bet on, honestly. I'd be better than Haskins. Leo knows. You just got to go full silver fox. Amen, bro. Just bring out the salt and pepper. We're cooking. I have like 5 random red hairs in my beard. Yeah, I mean.
I do too, but it's usually just like spaghetti sauce or something.
What beard? No kidding. 2-keeper league. I have Hilaire and Cooper drafting number 2, going with Henry first pick. Should I draft wide receiver 3rd and tight end 4th? I would say that all depends on the value that falls to you in your drafts. I'd want to know more about the keeper situation, but in general, like, I wouldn't just pigeonhole yourself into going position by position. I'd more so just evaluate the board and try to evaluate your teardrops. So
true.
Hey boys, don't know if you remember my roster sell with the John Allen and K1. Yeah, I remember Sell. You remember doing Sell?
Yep.
He was offered Michael Thomas and Trey Lance for Javonte and TB12. Thoughts? It's a 2-quarterback league. Give me the Trey Lance side, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yeah, and like, as much as I would say I would take Javonte straight up over Michael Thomas, it's pretty close. Like, that's pretty close between those two options. And I think Trey Lance versus Tom Brady is no contest.
Yep, absolutely. Done. DM to Corey. Corey, you can check your DMs.
We'll get you on next week.
Nico Collins versus Josh Palmer. I'll take Nico Collins there.
Yeah, I'll take Nico Collins, but those two are like my favorite 2 like sleeper wide receivers from this rookie class, though.
Thank you. No problem, Daryl, anytime. And if you want more like information or more specifics to your roster, feel free to DM either of us. I'll put the Twitters back on the screen and we'll get you on a recent or upcoming Dynasty Decisions video. Another mock. Corey, you done?
I'm probably going to head out after this one. I got to get some other things done. We got to close out our draft guide went live on Thursday. So if you guys haven't already checked that out, go ahead and do so. It's every link that you can find is in the description of all of our videos, but I still got to do some things to polish off the draft guide. It is live right now, but it's not officially finished until probably the end of this weekend.
And that's actually facts. Like, I want to do a BBM, but at the same time, I'm basically sweating badly from my vaccination yesterday. So I might just chill back on my laptop and write some articles. So yeah, I love Claypool this year. Yep, you and I both. We love our Claypool here. Nico over Palmer. Yep. Anytime there, Black Raven. Nico should really have no competition apart from Brandon Cooks. Yeah, it's a wide open wide receiver room there.
Facts.
I'm keeping him in the 13th. That is an absolute steal. So be happy that you got him at that value, because guess what? That's like a 6th round pick you're getting in the 13th.
Yep, definitely good value there. All right, should we head out of here?
Yeah, just the last thing we'll note is listen to Spicy Hawk. Great stream. Hit the like, boys. If you guys are watching the stream, make sure you're liking it up, baby. Let's go. On the road to 5,000 subscribers. Man, that is just wild to even think about. But,
yeah, exactly. We're hoping to just keep flooding the content with the and this, you guys that have been in here like Spicy Hot for like all off season since February, when we were doing freaking live streams in the middle of March talking about random shit. The channel is going to get flooded with some casuals in the next month and a half or so, but you guys are the real MVPs.
Amen to that. Yeah, like there's some of you guys that have been following us since we're at like 300 subscribers. So just appreciate all of you guys for sticking around so long, even though you had to experience some of my mic problems, some of my editing problems, some are like
a lot of our uploading random time things. Like, I know a lot of YouTube channels uploads things at like the same time every day. Like we just throw shit up when we feel like it, pretty much.
Yeah,
so
we just vibe, man. Like if it's up, you guys watch it. Like there you go.
Yeah.
But
that's why you gotta have those noties on.
Amen to that. Amen to that. But yeah, if you guys are watching this again, the last 2 Dynasty decisions are currently up on the channel. The last 2 days, yesterday Dynasty decisions, you'll see Trevor Lawrence on the thumbnail, and today you'll see Austin Eckler. So after this live stream, you don't have anything to do, go watch the videos, go like them up, go comment what your thoughts are on these Dynasty decisions videos. But yeah, anything else you want to add, Corey? Or should we head out of here?
No, let's head out.
All right. Peace out, y'all. Great stream. An hour and 20 strong. So take care.